Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Hope you are doing well and surviving throughout this crazy time that we're all going through. I miss seeing you guys on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, all of the days really, but I'm grateful that we have technology to kind of keep us all connected while we can't be together. I know it's been hard to isolate yourselves from your running family, your real family, and your friends, co-workers, but we are all doing our part through isolating ourselves to stop the spread of coronavirus so we can keep everybody healthy and safe so we can all be back out on the road sooner. So thanks for doing your part, because I know it's not easy. I am struggling with it as well. But with that being said, while we're all stuck in quarantine, I thought it would be a nice opportunity to introduce our old friend, the foam roller. If you're like me, mine's been sitting in the corner for quite some time, begging me to use it. So I thought I would share some of my favorite techniques through this video. A lot of questions that I get asked when I'm teaching classes are, why are we foam rolling? What's the purpose? So obviously our body's made up of a lot of different muscles, body parts, organs, but there's in particular something that really holds our body together, and that's something called fascia. And fascia is this fibrous connective tissue that kind of weaves in and through our muscles and really holds the human body together. So by using a foam roller, we're helping do something called a myofascial release. So kind of breaking up some of that tightness, because when fascia gets really tight over time, it can start to restrict our mobility. And as runners, we obviously don't want that to happen, because over time that can lead to injury. So foam rolling can help us kind of send some blood flow, oxygen to our muscles, to that fascia, and can be really good for us for recovery in between our runs. So with that being said, if I haven't scared you away already, we are going to get started. We'll do some stretching, incorporate some of foam rolling techniques in there as well. If you have a foam roller, go ahead and grab it. Doesn't matter what size. I have a longer one, but if you have a small one, that'll work too. In addition, if you have any sort of like yoga therapy balls or those trigger point massage balls, I'm gonna give a couple of different options to use those. If you don't have trigger point massage therapy balls, if you have tennis balls or maybe two small lacrosse balls, you can drop them in a sock and then tie the sock shut, and that can work too. If you have none of those things, no need to worry, I'll give options using just the foam roller. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started, and I'm gonna have you come into a child's pose to start. So if you're unfamiliar with child's pose, you're gonna sink your hips or your bum towards your heels, and just let your forehead rest to the ground. And it's kind of up to you. Your knees can be together. That's gonna allow your lower back to kind of round and release a bit more. If you'd rather have your knees further apart, that might be better if you have got tighter hips or need more space to breathe into your belly. And so with your head on the ground, I just want you to start taking a deep breath in through your nose, and then a deep breath back out through your nose. And try to inhale for the count of 4, so you really feel like your shoulder blades are expanding. And then as you exhale for the count of 4, just let your body soften. Shoulders relax, your hips sink. And throughout kind of our next 20-25 minutes together, I want you to see if you can maintain that rhythm of your breath. That'll help oxygenate our muscles and keep us from becoming rigid. Good, and from this child's pose now, I want you to start to walk up onto the very tips of your fingers, almost like you're playing the piano. And start to walk your fingertips now all the way off towards the left. So your right hand almost feels like it's trying to reach beyond the left. And let your head be heavy. And as you inhale, you might press into your right fingertips. You'll start to feel more of a deeper stretch down the right side of your waist there.
And then each exhale, see if you can soften your shoulders and release your hips. Good, take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good, then walk your fingertips back to center. And now walk all the way off towards your right. Left hand will start to reach beyond the right. Good, and you'll start to feel that sensation move down the left side of your body. And you're working into the intercostal muscles, which are the muscles between your ribs. And you also might start to feel it underneath of your arm. Good, and then slowly just start to walk your hands now back to center. Spread your fingertips wide as you plant your palms and just shift forward so you find all four. So your shoulders are right over your wrists and your hips are over your knees. And we'll start to warm up our spines a little bit more, but take an inhale, dip your belly, lift your eyes, lift your tail. And then on your exhale, round your back, tuck your chin, feel like you're puncturing your navel towards your spine. Good, and then inhale, dip your chest forward and through, collarbones are spread. Exhale as you find that gentle round, push through the palms. Just find 2 more of these with your own pace and your own breath. Again, think about linking your movement with your breath. Slow and control. We're so used to trying to go fast. Try to slow it down today. Good, and then after that second breath, you're gonna come back into your neutral tabletop. You're gonna take an inhale now to reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. You might look up towards your left fingers. And then exhale, thread your left arm underneath of your right. And just let your left ear rest to the floor. And your right palm can stay where it's at, or you might start to walk your fingertips forward. And again, on the tippy fingers like you're playing the piano. And as you breathe in, expand through your right rib cage. And then as you breathe out, feel like you're rotating your right rib cage towards the sky. You'll just start to kind of roll onto that left shoulder a bit more to open up the back of the shoulder blades. Good, take one more breath in. One more breath out. Good, and then walk your right hand forward. Take an inhale, reach that left hand towards the ceiling, just open it up. And then exhale, draw the left hand back to the floor. Good, and then you're gonna go ahead and just switch sides. So this time it's an inhale that's going to float that right arm up towards the ceiling. And then an exhale is going to thread the right arm underneath of your left. And drop your right ear to the floor. Good, your left hand might stay where it's at. Or you might start to walk those left fingertips forward. And again, super important to breathe. So see if you can challenge yourself to inhale to really inflate through your left side of your ribs, your lung. And then as you exhale, just press into those fingers to kind of rotate open through the shoulders. Good, take one more breath. And then begin to walk that hand back in if it's forward. Press into your palm, take an inhale, reach that right arm to the sky. And then exhale, draw the right hand back down. Good, take one more inhale, dip your belly, lift your eyes, lift your tail. And then on that exhale, round through your back and tuck your chin. Good, and then come back down into that neutral spine. Now we'll start to get into some foam rolling. So I want you to go ahead and take your foam roller and you're going to sit on the top of it. So once you're seated on the top of it, you can bring your hands behind you and then cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Once you've got that, you're gonna rock your weight over into your right glute. So your left hip and seat are kind of lifting off of the roller a bit. And then from there, you're just gonna start to take that forward motion and backward motion as you roll. I'll kind of turn this way so you can see. But when you're rolling, you want it to be slow and controlled movement. So you're not trying to speed through it, but really notice and observe maybe where you kind of roll over a tight spot. And once you do find that tight spot, you might kind of pause, maybe inhale, kind of press away from the roller a bit. And then as you exhale, kind of press it back down. And then after you do that, you can just find that roll a few more times here. And we're getting into our right glute, our right piriformis. And the glute, as we all know while we're running, or maybe we don't know, but the glute helps stabilize our hips. Good. And then go ahead, drop that right foot down, and then bring yourself back to center so you can switch. So left ankle on top of your right thigh. Roll over into that left hip so your right glute kind of lifts up a bit. And just kind of roll up and back. So people often ask how much time. There's obviously lots of different research, schools of thought. I've always been told and have learned from my teachings that it's about a minute or so. You can probably go 90 seconds. So if at any point you want to go a little bit longer, I'm trying to do about a minute here. You can always pause me and then press play later. And again, if you find that super tight spot, maybe pause, lift yourself up a bit. And then exhale, kind of press a little bit more weight into that tight area. Another thing you can do is kind of rock a little side to side, kind of massage it out. And just take maybe one or two more rolls here. Good, and then once you come back to center, drop that left foot down. Bring your hips back to the middle, and then just roll the roller so it's forward. And we're gonna move into our hamstrings next. Before we do that, if you need to do a couple wrist circles one way and then the other way, that works too. And then for hamstrings, if you have very tight hamstrings, I recommend doing double. So you can sit on the very edge and you're just gonna kind of roll forward and back. If you're like, this seems really silly, nothing's really happening for me, you're gonna take the foam roller underneath one of your legs at the very edge of where your glute meets your hamstring. And then you're just gonna roll forward and back. If you're super flexible, you can always drop that left knee to the floor behind you and just kind of roll up and down. And again, if you find that tight spot, you can pause, inhale, press up, and then exhale, come back down. And you want to make sure you're perched on the edge so that you can feel it roll right where your butt attaches to your hamstring, essentially. Another option is if you have those therapy balls, you can put them right underneath where your glute attaches to your hamstring, and then just kind of roll up and down, side to side. That can be a little bit intense, especially if it's like a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball. That's a little bit harder, but an option. And so once you've done that right side, or if you're doing doubles, you can take a little rest, but you're gonna wanna even it out. So come up to perch on that left seat and just kind of roll again forward and back. And again, you can pause, you can kind of rock a little side to side, maybe inhale, lift up, exhale, plop back down a bit.
And do about 2 or 3 more rolls there, and then I'll show you where we're going next. So as we move our way down the leg, we're going to move into calves. So this is a pretty sensitive area, but you're going to start with the roller underneath both of your calves, and you're going to press into your palms and lift your hips up, and you're just going to start to roll up and down the length of your calf. So keep going there. You never want to go onto any joints or bones when you're foam rolling, so make sure you're not going all the way up behind your knee, but you're just staying in that meaty part of your calves right here. Option, if this feels like it's not doing a whole heck of a lot, you can always cross your right ankle over your left to get a little bit more pressure in there. And try to relax your feet as much as possible. It's normal for us to want to flex our ankle to avoid the sensation, but let your feet go floppy. And once you've gone up and down, I want you to point both of your toes to the left. You can do that as well if you've got ankles crossed. If you're rolling double, you're going to feel it in the outer edge of your left calf and the inner part of your right calf. Good, and then go ahead, you can roll it all the way over to the right, pointing those toes towards the right, and just roll forward and back. If you find a tight spot, another option is to kind of span a little side to side. Good, and if you were doing those singles, you can switch. If you're doing doubles, just take about 3 more rolls, wherever you need it the most here. Good. And then once you finish, you can sit down. Just kind of make some fists with your fingers and then reopen through the fingertips. I always do closed hand, open hand, tiger paw, closed hand, open hand, tiger paw, closed hand, open hand, tiger paw, just to stretch out the wrists and the finger joints. Could be fun. All right, next up, we're gonna hit the anterior tib. So that is, if you were to press on the outer edge of your shin and start to point and flex your foot, you're gonna feel a little muscle start to move there. That's what we're trying to target there. So that muscle is responsible, as we just demonstrated, for that movement in your foot. So good to roll it out. It can also be a cause for some shin splints, so this is a good one to do on the regular. Want to be careful not to roll on your actual shin bone, but that you're really targeting where you feel that muscle move when you point and flex. So to get into it, you're going to come onto a tabletop on your mat, and you're going to take your roller and line up one edge of it to face the top left corner of your mat, and the opposite edge is facing towards the bottom right. Once you're there, you're just going to extend your left leg back behind you, and then take the outer edge of your right shin onto the roller. And you're just going to roll up and down. Again, make sure you're not on the bone, but you're just going kind of right up to the base of where that knee is, not on the knee joint, all the way down to the outer edge above the ankle. And once you've done a couple rolls there, the next time you're at the base of your knee, not on the knee, I want you to pause. As you roll down, I want you to start to point and flex your foot. And then once you reach the bottom, same thing, nice and slow all the way to the top. It should feel rather interesting. Good, and once you've done up and back twice, you can go ahead, bring your left knee down, bring your right knee down. You need to come off your hands for a second before we switch sides, but you're gonna go ahead and again, take that roller, so one edge is towards now the right corner of your mat, bottom edge towards the left, and you'll hit that other side. So bring your hands into that table, extend your right leg back behind you, so you can take outer edge of shin, and again, just roll
up and down. Not on the bone, but just towards that outer edge. Next time you meet the base of your top of your tib there, you're going to pause and then start to slowly move, pointing and flexing through that foot. Feels good. Or it doesn't. Do it one more time though, up and down. Good, and then once you make your way back up, go ahead, drop your knee down, drop your left knee back, and we'll head into our quadriceps next. I promise we're getting near the end. So, you're going to come up to kneel in front of your roller, come down on towards your forearms so that you're laying on top of the roller right at the base of your quad, so top of your thighs. From there, you're just going to start to gently roll forward and then roll it all the way back. Good, and if you find a really tight spot, a really fun activity is you can pause and hold, and then you're gonna bend your knees so your soles of your feet go to the ceiling, and then re-lengthen through the legs. Try not to grit your teeth, and remember that 4-count breath we talked about. Once you've done maybe that on a couple of tight spots, you can kind of roll to the inner part of the left, outer part of the right, and then switch, just kind of getting all sides there. Again, relax as much as you can. Good. And then if you need a little bit more, feel free to take it. You can pause. But next we're going to get into everybody's favorite, the IT band. So there is a lot of different thoughts about the IT band, whether you should roll it, whether you should not roll it. I'm pro rolling the IT band, but not super deep, just kind of some light pressure. Why I think it's important is kind of increases the range of motion, because your IT band connects at your hip and then runs all the way down the outer edge of your leg, down the outer edge of your knee. So it can kind of help increase that range of motion. In addition, it's thought that when you're compressing and then decompressing through that rolling motion, it can help kind of bring some more fluidity back into that area. On the flip side, some people have challenged IT band rolling with saying that if you do it too hard, it can start to damage any muscles below the IT band if you have any little like micro tears or something like that. So I would say talk to your physical therapist if you're not sure. If you feel anything weird when you're rolling your IT band, maybe back off the pressure and just don't go as deep. So with that being said, you're going to come onto your side and bring the roller right underneath where your hip is on the outer edge of your thigh. Left leg is going to be straight. Right leg can be bent in front or behind, just kind of depends on what works for you. And you're just going to start to roll up and down the outer edge of your thigh. Couple things to note: you never want to roll on your hip bone. Never want to roll on your knee joint. Just that little meaty part in between. If you don't feel like anything is happening at all, I highly doubt that, then you can stack your legs and that'll give you a little bit more of a pressure point. If you still don't feel like something's happening, you can bend that left knee a bit. I feel a lot happening, so I'm bringing my foot back down. And let's just do 2 more passes on this side. And then once you've hit that pass, you can come on up. And we're just going to take it right over into that right side. You're going to lay You can come onto your palm also. That kind of takes a little bit more pressure off. Or you can come onto your forearm, whatever works best. Right leg is straight. And again, you're just finding that roll up and down. Maybe try to inhale for the count of 4 as you roll down. Exhale for the count of 4 as you come back up. Good, and again, you can stack the legs if you need more, or softly bend that knee. Let's do just one more pass here. Good, and then go ahead, drop your bum down. All right, you can take your roller off to the side for now. We have one more rolling exercise to do, but before that, I wanted to introduce you guys to a stretch for your feet. Obviously, we're on our feet a lot when we're logging our miles, and we rarely get the opportunity to stretch them. So I want you to come onto your knees and tuck your toes under. And you want to try to tuck your toes under all the way towards the baby toe side of your foot. Shockingly, because my big toes are so long, my baby toes don't touch, but I'm wearing socks so you can't see that. But normal people, you're allowed, and you can, touch your baby toes to the floor. You're probably already feeling pretty good stretch into the soles of your feet. You might even be grimacing your teeth and saying, why am I listening to CaROLLing? This is terrible. If you're not, and you're like, oh, this feels really good, you might start to bring your fingertips back and just continue to breathe. Make sure your weight's distributed evenly. Think about stretching down the length of your foot, both of your feet. And just take one more deep breath in here. Deep breath back out. Yay, and then come on up. Go ahead, bring your hands to the floor, uncurl your toes. You can kind of hammer out the tops of your feet a little bit. That's a fun one to do when you're watching TV, or it's not. But anyways, it's really good for you, so you should try to do it when you have some downtime to stretch your feet. All right, last thing that I'm going to do is we're just gonna kind of roll out a little bit more into our shoulders and our back. So take the roller just behind you. Bring the roller just at the base of your shoulder blades. Just interlace your fingers lightly behind your head so your elbows are wide. Press into your feet, lift your hips, and just start to gently roll up and down the length of your mid to upper back. This one should feel nice. And if you find kind of a good spot that you're into, you might lean off to one side and kind of roll into that side. And then the other. And then you can go ahead, come back to center, and then start to just take the roller so it comes behind your neck. So right onto your neck. You're looking straight up towards the ceiling. Your arms are just going to kind of rest by your sides. And just start to gently drop your right ear to the right. Come back to center. And then take it to the left. And just kind of move slowly. Should feel really nice on the neck, especially if you've been staring at a computer screen for hours like I have. My neck gets super tight. You can do that as many times as you'd like. And then once you have done a couple more rounds, take that roller from underneath of your neck and go ahead and just bring the back of your head to the ground, arms by your side. And then hug your knees into your chest. And kind of just rock a little side to side, massage out your hips, your lower back. And then either roll to one side or you can take your hands behind your legs and just kind of rock up. And take one final deep breath in, reach your arms up. Deep breath out, bring your arms by your side. And thank you for taking the time to roll and stretch a bit with me. If you have questions, feel free to let me know. And hope to see you guys super soon. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.